Shalom, Hebrews, back at you again. This is Israel been Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Hebrews, are the Jewish peoples the descendants of Prophet Israel? Are the Jewish people from the tribe of Judah? Man, it's been some cold mess going on in this world. And the Israelite Brotherhood gonna show you Hebrews what's going on. I don't care about nobody else. You know, so I just care that the Israelites wake up. You know what I'm saying? And see what's going on. See this dude right here is a sly fox. Man, he's a sly fox. That Henry Abramson dude is a sly fox. And he's an Amorite. He's a Sephardi, a Sephardi. And the Amorites, man, they gonna lie. They gonna lie about the Israelite history and heritage because it was the Israelite that was supposed to destroy the Amorites. So now that the Amorites get to hide behind Israelite heritage, man, that's a cold thing, is that the Amorites managed to get a hold of the Israelite heritage and then claim it as their own. Now, man, that's some cold mess. And they think that they pulling the fast one on the Creator, but they ain't. You know, they ain't getting away. You know, they ain't gonna get away. You know what I'm saying? That's like this, man. Dude is a sly fox. Dude is a sly fox. He's a sly fox. That Henry Abramson dude right there is a sly fox. You know, he's a sly, sneaky fox. And if you listen to him, man, he gonna tell you a lie real smooth. Real smooth, you know what I'm saying? And he been doing it, you know, for a while. You know what I'm saying? He's a sly fox. That Henry Abramson. He's a sly fox. And he got the people thinking that the Jews are the Israelites. And then I can show you easily that the Jews are not the Israelites, and that the Jews are basically, man, they got in our heritage, basically all kind of ways. All kind of ways. But the most significant, you know, part that they got in is when we come out of Egypt during Joshua time, when the Amorite tribes tricked us. The Gibeonites tricked us and told us that they come from a long place. And then these are the people he kin to. He kin to the Gibeonites, who were Amorites. You know what I'm saying? They one and the same. In the same deception that they pulled in is part of their heritage, you know, and they, you know, tell lies. And he been telling lies on the Israelite heritage for a long time. But the Gibeonites got into the Israelite heritage when we come out of Egypt, when they tricked us and told us that they come from a far distance. That they come from a far distance, and then they really didn't, and that they was actually the Amorite tribes that we were supposed to destroy. And then we end up making them carriers and workers in our most important institutions, you know, carry waters and wood cutters for the congregation that morphed into workers for the temples. And then how that they kept our heritage. I explain in countless videos how the Amorites, the most serious ones, come from Sephardi and got in our heritage. You know, the ones, the Sephardians, who he is akin to. You know, that Henry Abramson is a Sephardi, and this is gonna be his root origin right there, and how that they was placed in the northern kingdom. See, the northern kingdom always kind of like been messed up, and this is what the enemy ain't gonna tell us, is that the northern kingdom was controlled by Ephraim, Joseph children, and how that they always had a connection to Egypt. So, you know, the northern kingdom, man, after the death, after King David passed, and then Solomon passed, and then the kingdom broke up, where the Judites didn't have control of the rest of the Israelites. How about The Sephardi's got everybody thinking that it was a split, and that's when it become the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. But I can show in Tanakh history that the Amorites lie on Israelite history. But yeah, he's from Sephardim, and then they the most important Amorites come to our land, Jerusalem, and hooked up with the Nethinims, and they merged and become one. And these people are responsible for Western civilization's history writing and writings. You know, they created the English language along with Ashkenazi, the Romanist and the Germanist language merged and created the English language, and how they been telling lies on the Israelite history. But as I was saying, Israelites, I want to show real quick how it never really was no northern and southern kingdom from the beginning, and how did it always was like Joseph children running the north, and Judah and a few other tribes in the south who Judah absorbed, you know, like Simon and Benjamin and so forth. But how did, man, it kind of like always was like a difference, you know, the northern part and the southern parts. And I want to show that, and then I want to get into how this Amorite lie. You know, he say that Hebrew Israelites and Jews is the same, and that's a note of terminology. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a figure of speech, and that the Jews and the Israelites are the same people. But I explain that the Sephardi's and the Ashkenazi are not Israelites, and I explain how they got into the Israelite heritage real easily. And then, you know, he would become a Jew, and they would get a hold to the Israelite heritage after we abandoned it to them around the Babylonian wars. But look here, Israelites, man, this, let me show how it kind of like always was a north and south. And you know, that isn't just something that come about after Solomon's death and his son Rehoboam got on, and then, you know, everybody split. It's just that the northern part saying that they just wasn't going to follow the tribe of Judah anymore, and how that they was just going to do their own thing. But how it always was a north and a south. You know, man, if you go to Joshua 18, and then you will see, I mean, that it says, and the whole congregation of Israel assembled together at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there, and the land was subdued before them. And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes which had not yet received their inheritance. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, how long are ye slack to go to possess the land which the Elohim Yah of your fathers had given you? Give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them, and they will arise and go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them. And they shall come again to me, and they shall divide it into 7 parts. Look, 7 parts. Judah shall abide in their coast on the south. See, it's always been the south. In the house of Jotham shall abide in their coast on the north. You see, and we know that the tribe of Ephraim ran the northern kingdom, as was shown when Jeroboam was chased into Egypt by Solomon, because the Creator gave him control of the 10 tribes, and he was from the tribe of Ephraim. And we know that the tribe of Ephraim throughout Tanakh history held control of the northern parts. You know, the northern parts. And so here it is right here. So it never was really no north and south split, and how that it was really always like that, a north and a south. And Judah shall abide in their coast on the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in their coast on the north. And then, man, to show you Israelites that the tribe of Ephraim, Joseph's children, ran the northern kingdom, is if you go to the book of Ezekiel. You know what I'm saying? And this also show that it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, because the tribes of Israel, man, just basically, some of the people, man, they could just go wherever they want to. They wasn't just confined to the north and the south. But if you was from the south, that's traditionally where you stayed, because that's where your folks was. And if you was in the north, that's traditionally where you stayed, because that's where your folks was. But if you, let's look and see. Let's look and see. All right. It always was a north or south. But if you go to Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, and that'll be Ezekiel making everybody into one during the Babylonian wars. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to Ezekiel 37, you'll see it says, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write up on it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write up on it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. See, it's either Judah ran the south or Ephraim ran the north. Now the other Israelites, men from them tribes, they name pop up every now and then. But the Israelite heritage in history was basically a Judah and Ephraim thing. Those gonna be the most active tribes in the Tanakh history. The tribe of Ephraim, man, had an Egyptian connection. So that's gonna, man, keep them, you know what I'm saying, in the danger zone, man, to where the prophet's gonna always, be having to deal with them. And then if you go to Hosea, that'd be Hosea 12, I think. Hosea 12. And then you'll see that the tribe of Ephraim kept an Egyptian connection. Ephraim feedeth on wind. This Hosea 12. Ephraim feedeth on wind and followed after the east wind, and he daily increaseth lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. So, the tribe of Ephraim gonna keep an Egyptian connection. You know what I'm saying? They gonna keep an Egyptian connection, and that's what made us fall. But it was always it was always a split. Like, it was always a north and a south, and how that the split just didn't come about because Jeroboam, put pressure on the Israelites, man, for them to follow him after King David passed away. And Jeroboam was already chosen to lead the northern kingdom. And then that would cause the northern kingdom to just do their thing, and the southern kingdom meant to do their thing. And that'd be, which kings is that? One of the kings. Let me see which king. But this the land right here. Let's see which king that is. Let me see. That's gonna be, man, I had it all wrote down. Let's see if we can find this. Where the split come from with David and Jeroboam. With Jeroboam. And then how the kingdom say that they didn't want to follow Jeroboam no more. And then how that they was going to do their own thing. Alright. I mean, if you go to, that'd be 1 Kings chapter 12. And then when you get over to, alright, 13, and the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old man's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men. This the young man telling Rehoboam to tighten up on everybody, saying, my father made you your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Elohim, that he might perform his saying which the Elohim spake by Abiyah, Ahiah, the Shilonite, unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. See? But far as the children of Israel which dwell in the cities of Judah, with Rehoboam reign over them. So man, it was Israelites, you know what I'm saying, in the tribe of Judah's inheritance and so forth. And then how those Israelites, men, will be around when the Assyrian problems come. There ain't no change. And then how that everybody will go into Africa, but it was always a north in the southern part and stuff, as I demonstrated. All right, Israelites, let's listen, man, to this dude. He real deceptive. He's a sly fox. He's a sly fox. He's a sly fox. It's that Abraham dude right there. He is a sly fox. He's a sly fox. Now let's listen to this sly fox.
Is destroyed by the Assyrians. Here you can see in this map that the Assyrian kingdom expands and eventually conquers the northern part, the kingdom of Israel, and then ultimately destroys its sovereignty and will exile the Jews from there. And as you can see in this map,
look, he's real deceptive. Here that he called the northern kingdom Jews when then everybody was identified by their own tribes, by their own tribes. So they wasn't no Jews. So he's real deceptive. And I explained how the Jews are the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi's. And the Sephardi's are Amorites. And the Amorites gonna be trying to hide behind the Israelite heritage, knowing that the Creator set out a decree to destroy them from the beginning. The whole Israelite heritage in history was about destroying the Amorites. And he's an Amorite from Sepharad. So, and then they settled in our land during the Assyrian time. See, he ain't going to tell you that his folks settled in our land during the Assyrian times, and then how they stayed there 134 years and even come to the Passover dinner. We let the strangers come to the Passover dinner under King Hezekiah, and then how we would be driven off the land after the death of King Hezekiah's great-grandson, King Josiah, who cleaned us up from the Egyptian and the Amorite religions. And then the Egyptians had killed King Josiah, and then we will be chased into Africa, all the tribes, because it never was any 10 lost tribes. It never was any 10 lost tribes, and he knew it too. And he gonna tell you, but he's real slick and deceptive, as he called all the Israelites in the northern kingdom Jews. And knowing that word Judea and come from the Greek and Roman times, and then how that everybody was from Judea, and especially the Edomites, you know what I'm saying, Herd and them and so forth, and then how that was coined after them. And he's Edomite too, because the Sephardim and the Edomites, the Sephardi's and the Edomites merged and become one. But listen to him.
There is a significant portion of Jews, the so-called lost 10 tribes, are sent into exile in...
He hates saying that because he know I done showed, he been watching my videos, and he know that I done proved that it never was any 10 lost tribes. It never was any 10 lost tribes. And we know that the Assyrians didn't take no 10 tribes. And then later on, we know that the Babylonians didn't remove none of the other tribes. So all those tribes would go into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, pushed in the southern kingdom, and then eventually they would flee off into Africa, and we are their descendants. That's why come he don't want to never tell the truth. He don't want to never tell the truth because he's an Amorite. He's a Sephardi Amorite. And they ain't gonna never tell the truth. Whenever you Israelites searching Jewish history, trying to find some truth on the Israelite history, you ain't gonna find it because they are Amorites. And the Amorites are the people that we was told to destroy from the beginning. And then they get a hold to the Israelite heritage because the Egyptians tricked us out of our heritage and then let the whole Israelite army and nation go into Africa to worship their religion and leaving our heritage to these Amorites right here who tell lies and who been hiding behind the Israelite heritage so they don't get it because they know that they are Amorites and that Almighty YAH sent out a decree to destroy them from the beginning.
Assyria in particular. However, what's not widely understood is that not all of the Jews were sent out of the land of Israel by the Assyrians. In fact,
listen,
it's probably
he keep trying to make the northern kingdom into Jews. Everybody into Jews. You see, once they get the Israelite men up under that title, then they got control because they are the Jews. And if they can convince everybody that all Israelites are Jews or were from the tribe of Judah, as they say that the word come from, then they got control. And they've been having control for a long time. And it's messed up how they can deceive people outrightly and then people don't complain or challenge them or nothing. Because I explain in videos how it benefit the non-pigmented people that the Jews claim Israelite heritage and how they happen them because then it justify them oppressing the other peoples on the earth and so forth because they think that the earth was given men to them first and that is all false. And then I got proof showing that the Amorites mixed with the fallen angelic beings, the giants, and then how that they would be in the caves that they would be in the caves in Turkey in the Hittites underground, and then how the people don't understand that the Amorites are mixed with the fallen angelic beings, and then how you can see that they're trying to get back up into the heavens as Prophet Isaiah prophesies what he calls Satan loose for the light would do, and how it will be brung down to the ground, and how it is one and the same as them peoples. You know what I'm saying? It's them peoples. Me and I got some stuff to show. All right, let's listen to this here. Just the underground cities, you know what I'm saying? Where the Nephilims come from who are mixed with the Amorites. And, you know, they been having control ever since we come out of Egypt and didn't destroy them. And then let me see. Let me get back to him, and then I'm going to go into the Nephilim associated with the Amorite things, and then that's what, you know, they trying to keep that head. You know, the Amorites trying to keep that head, but because they the Nephilim, the fallen they the descendants of the fallen angelic beings and the Amorites.
Number around 30,000, which would leave a much larger number still in the land. However, under the political pressure of the Assyrians, many of them fled to the south, to the region known as Judah, right? That's the southern kingdom.
So then if Israelites was always there, and we know that, you know, man, the Babylonians came who would be the Scythians, Ashkenazi, and how they was brutal, then everybody would run into Africa, and all the tribes are still there after the Assyrian period. So if the Babylonians just take a fruit, the craftsmen and the leaders, then where was everybody else? Because the Tanakh say the whole land was empty. Especially in Judah where everybody had ran to, and I can read that real easy during the Babylonian Wars. Look, man, if you go to 2 Kings, man, that'll be 2 I mean, Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 2. Easy. Easy. I know that by heart. Let's see. Jeremiah 44, verse 2. Thus said the Elohim of hosts, the YAH of Israel, ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, and behold, and upon all the cities of Judah, and behold, this day they are a desolation, and no man dwelleth therein. Where was everybody at? Where was everybody at? If the city was desolate during the Babylonian wars, it's that everybody had ran into Africa, tricked into Africa, meant to do the Egyptian religion, as the Tanakh easily explained this. So that Iberson dude know this too. You know what I'm saying? He know that the Israelites went into Africa, and that's something he don't want to ever talk about, because as I explained, the Amorites are hiding behind the Israelite heritage. The Amorites are hiding behind the Israelite heritage. And you know, that happened when we ran off during the Babylonian wars. Now let's listen to this slick fox again. You know what I'm saying? This sly fox. Let's listen to this sly fox again.
Judah, by the way, is Yehuda in Hebrew. J and Y often switch between Western European languages and Hebrew. So a lot of those people who were from the 10 tribes in the north made their way down to Yehuda, where there was considerable mixing of the peoples. So much so that long afterwards you have a description of a person who was not of the tribe of Judah living in Persia, of course the great...
Yeah, whatever, he try to throw you off. All right, so then he telling you that that the people ran to Judah, and then I can show this throughout Tanakh history, man. It's a bunch of verses showing that the Israelites went into Judah many different times and lived there. And then, you know, I can also show this. This is greatly ignored right here, and how the historians up to date on Israelite heritage don't want to never talk about this. Look, 2 Kings 25:26. And all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. And those Israelites never ever returned back to the promised land, because we are them. We said we was going into Egypt to worship the Egyptian religion. And then that's what, you know, we did. But this Ibrahim dude, it is a lie. And, you know, he's a lie. And now let me go into the little Amorite and the Hittite main connection to the Amorite Hittite connection to the Jews, the Nephilims. And then, you know, when I get that established, then, you know, you should see easily, real easily, why we shouldn't, you know, listen to them Jews. You know what I'm saying? That's like this. If you go to First Chronicles 9, you know, look, so all Israel were reckoned by genealogies, and behold, they were written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah, who were carried away to Babylon for their transgressions. Now, this is talking about the Babylonian era. Now, the first inhabitants that dwelt in their possessions in their cities were the Israelites. Look, you see how the Israelites are still there? The priests, the Levites, and the Nethinims. The Nethinims is going to be where the Jews come from. Those going to be the Gabbanites that we didn't destroy. The Amorites that we didn't destroy, that became workers in the temples under Solomon wicked tale. You know, Solomon let all the enemies get into the high positions and stuff, and in the promised land, you know, and he married the enemies' women and had children by them. And the Nethinims were the peoples that we didn't destroy. And then they come back from Babylon with some Amorites too. I got a video going, meaning to this. And in Jerusalem dwelt of the children of Judah, and of the children of Benjamin, and of the children of Ephraim and Manasseh. Now this is after the Babylonian wars, when the Israelites come back under the Persian rule, and it's just easily explained how they was at home, like Ibrahim explained how they never left during the Assyrian times, and how it never was any 10 lost tribes. But they explain that sneaky, like, old Sly Fox and stuff. Old Sly Fox. So then if it never was any 10 lost tribes, and the Jews saying this now, they saying this now because the Israelite Brotherhood forcing them to say it. And that the Hebrews in them camps got to go and abandon them doctrines. Man, they got to go and abandon them doctrines, and them the other verses that I showed that the Israelites were with the exiles that come back from the Babylonian captivity. You see? They would have to get destroyed. They would have to get destroyed, the exiles, because they got the Israelites that's been on Egyptian religion for a long time. And then that would throw the exiles off. And I explained in videos how Prophet Isaiah already prophesied the exiles mean destruction. Alright, Hebrews, it's a cold thing how the Amorites got into our heritage, and then got control of it, and then been tricking folks the whole time. Let's go to Joshua. Judges is a good book to show you about them about them Amorites being connected to the giants, as we know that the Amorites were connected to the giants by Tanakh history. It lays it out. It lays it out about the giants and who they were kin to. The giants don't go all the way back to Genesis 6. Let's see. When the sons of YAH, look, that the sons of YAH saw the daughters of man, that they were fair. Man, when I show you what the word fair mean, white, and they took them wives, all which they chose. That's Cain descendants gonna have Tazeret, and then I show how he was driven underground, and so forth, and then it's gonna be, the Hittites gonna be his descendants, and then if you look, the Numbers and Joshua, Numbers 13:33, and Joshua 13:12, and Deuteronomy give you, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, after the flood, the giants were there, and the giants mixed with the Amorites. That's what Og and all them folks was that we were supposed to destroy. See, the Amorites gonna try to get the Israelite heritage first chance they got, and they was probably trying. Soon as we come up out of Egypt, the Amorites gonna be trying to get the Israelite heritage, because the Israelites supposed to destroy them. So they gonna try to get our heritage and try to portray to be us if they can do that. And then that happened. Let me see, 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which come of the giants. Let me see. All right, we know the giants. All right, let's see what Joshua 12. Joshua 13:12. Let's see what that say. Yeah, the Amorites, man, they been slick the whole time. They been slick the whole time. They got the Israelite heritage and got us locked up in the captivity. In the captivity, that's 13:12. Alright, I'm right here. I turn right to it. All the kingdom of Og, Bashan, which resigned in Ashtaroth and Eridated, remain of the giants. For these did Moses smite and cast them out. So the giants, man, is gonna be the felon angelic beings. That's gonna be the felon angelic beings. Man, let's see what Deuteronomy 3:11 say. That's gonna be the felon angelic beings, children mixed with the Amorites. with the Amorites. So if the fallen angelic beings, children, are mixed with the Amorites, then you know they're going to try to hide behind Yah's children and people if they slip and fall off the bike. Then they going to get on the bike and start riding it. You know what I'm saying? And man, that's what happened. That's what happened. All right, do the running. You know, we fell off the bike, man. They on the bicycle riding. Swerving down they the Israelites, man. I keep turning right to these verses. Look. For only all of Bashan remained of the giants. Behold, his bedstead was of iron, and it was in Rabah, the children of Aaron, 9 cubits day. Man, I just finished watching the video showing how that the Amorites from Babylon worship a bed-like structure that was set out, that was 9 feet in cubic, that was at the bottom of one of those Zechariahs, and how they made sacrifices and did all kind of wicked stuff on it, and how that the Babylonian Amorite traditions went from Mesopotamia all the way to Canaan, and how that, you know, these folks we were supposed to destroy, the Amorites were the chief of that stuff, and we didn't destroy them. We didn't destroy them, but you see how, you know, the Amorites was there. And he is an Amorite because the Amorites are the founders of Sephardi, Babylon, where he's from. You know, where he's from, you know what I'm saying? That's the founders in the seat of the Amorites. Babylon, Sephardi, right here. And they was placed in our land in 722 BC by the king of Assyria. And we were run into Africa in during the Babylonian wars, abandoning everything meant to them. Let's look at that, because those are Amorites right there. So the Amorites gonna lie on the Israelite heritage, knowing that they were supposed to be destroyed. Knowing they were supposed to be destroyed. So you know they gonna lie and tell lies as best they can, and then they gonna tell some good lies to make people believe. Because if people supposed to believe in the Israelites and come to Almighty Yah through the Israelites, then the Jews not gonna want that to happen. The Amorites, who are the Jews, are not gonna want that to happen, and so they gonna tell good lies to draw the people to them. That's what that bright light means, to draw the people to them. You know, the light of the Illuminati. All right, man. If you go to 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 24, and this is when the Amorites, the real serious ones, come into the Promised Land. Now they was already there in the temple structure. Man, probably for about a good, for about a good 200-300 years. They done been in our heritage as under the Gabbanites. And then here goes the most educated ones that create capitalism and that keep trade going on. Matter of fact, the whole American economic system and administrative structure is patterned off ancient Sephardi, where the Sephardians from. And I explained how the Sephardis come to America first, and how America means Amorite ancient clans, Amorite ancient families, and so forth. And those would be the Amorites that fled from the Promised Land under Ashkenazi assault on them during the 70 AD siege, when Ashkenazi chased them Edomites to Spain, and then they would launch off from Spain and Portugal to the Americas. But here go the Amorites being placed in our land, the most important ones. Look, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutter and from Abel and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So they in the northern kingdom. They in the northern kingdom, and they ain't never get chased out. They ain't never get chased out, and then I can show how, all right, in 722 BC, all right, look, man, let's see about King Hezekiah. Let's see when King Hezekiah was around. But because that's when they come to the Passover done. And if you go to 2 Chronicles 30, they had been in our land 7 years. But like I say, some of they peoples, the Amorites, the Gibeonites, who were the Nethinims, which were the combination of all the enemies that were supposed to serve in the temple that we were supposed to make slaves of, and they was Amorites, and they was in the temple, and that the Amorites become united with them. All right, let's see this here, man. Let's see. All right, second Chronicles 30 show that those people placed in 722 BC, that the people placed in 722 BC would be men in our land 7 years later and come to the Passover dinner under King Hezekiah. And we know that King Hezekiah was around. Man, this thing do not want to pull this up. Yeah, Hezekiah was around, men around about men around about maybe I think it was 715 BC. He was around King Hezekiah, and King Hezekiah, let's see, look, you see, Hezekiah 716 to 687 BC, and then how did these peoples would come to the dinner, the Passover dinner, and then if you read 2 Chronicles 30, you'll see that all the tribes of Israel are still home, and you'll see that they escaped the Assyrians when you get down to verse 6. This is 2 Chronicle 30. This is in 716 BC. As that Jew just explained, that all the tribes are still at home after the Assyrian captivity, but he ain't never explained how the Assyrians placed the Sephardim in the northern kingdom, and then how did they come to the Passover dinner under King Hezekiah. Look, this is 2 Chronicles 30. Look, let's see that they escaped the Syrians. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remain of you that are escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria. So as you read, you'll see that the tribes still home. We know Ephraim leads the northern kingdom, and how that they still at home. You know what I'm saying? They're still at home. And all the tribes are not mentioned during Hezekiah time, going to be mentioned during his great-grandson, King Josiah time. And the Israelites still at home then. Look, but as you get down to verse 25 of 2 Chronicles 30, you'll see that the strangers come to the Passover dinner. And the strangers is going to be the Sephardi, the Amorites, and all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that come out of Israel, and the strangers. Look, and the strangers that come out of the land of Israel that dwell in Judah rejoice. Now, men, I got 11. Men, I got 7:11 here for some reason. Isaiah 7:21. Let's see what Isaiah 7:21 say. Because usually when I have a verse, I try to leave it close to another verse. 7:21. Look, and I will give it into the hand, look, our land. And I will give it into the hands of strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. That's what happened when the Amorites got our heritage. That's what happened to our heritage when the Amorites got it. Because now they claiming the Israelite heritage and been the most wickedest people on the earth. And then got people thinking that they God chosen people. You know, we were supposed to destroy the Amorite culture. We were supposed to destroy the Amorite culture, but we Israelites never did. We never did, and that's the Israelites reigning now. You know what I'm saying? I was tracing the origin, to them caves in those caves in Turkey that the Hittites had, because how the Amorites are from Syria. These parts right here, they from Syria, right at the foot of the Turkey caves, and how did them folks live, the fallen angelic beings and Cain kid mix, which will produce the Hittites, and then how did them folks live underground.
Time during the 3rd millennium BCE, a group of nomadic raiders expanded out of their mountainous homelands in Syria and stormed Mesopotamia.
See, out of their homeland in Syria, so they right at the bottom of the Caucasus Mountain, and then this would be them right here with the fallen angel beings living underground. Look.
Some of you will first have been introduced.
No, this ain't the one, and I had one showing how they would.
Is that not only were they full of people, but there was also livestock down here. And we're told that as many as 20,000 people, perhaps even as much as 60,000, could have lived here at any one time.
Look, 20,000 to 60,000 non-pigmented peoples, Cain descendants, the Hittites, lived underground, and the Amorites were mixed with them. The Amorites were mixed with them, and the fallen angelic beings are the are what Babylon's God history is about, and the same as Egypt, and how that they were start underground. This was when Cain was driven underground out the presence, of Almighty Yah, and then his kids were mixed with the fallen angelic beings. His kids were mixed with the fallen angelic beings and so forth, and they would live underground in Turkey. I was also watching this video too, where they done got this stupid dude say, well, I guess he just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because he say how he left the camps, but then you can, kind of understand why he left the camps, because the camps ain't got no true Israelite history. They ain't got no true Israelite history. And if any Israelite coming off that 70 AD history, then that's going to be Jewish history. And you're not going to be able to find your heritage in Jewish history, as the Amorites got it set up like that. Yes.
Assumptions that they hold.
Okay, foundationally, what almost all of them would agree on is that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are true descendants of Israel.
And then it's messed up. See, he don't know. He don't know, and his spirit fought against that. That's why come he got up out the camps, because he know deep down inside that the Hispanics and the natives cannot be Israelites. Impossible. Impossible for the natives and the Hispanics to be Israelites, as I explained how the whole Israelite nation ran into Africa during the Babylonian wars. Now, it was never any 10 lost tribes. So if everybody run into Africa and it never was any 10 lost tribes, and that the natives didn't have no Israelite customs, far as domesticating animals and having domesticated crops, building houses with windows, roofs, and having carts with axles and wheels and so forth. So, his spirit gonna rebel against that. And then that come from those Jewish lies from the Amorites, creating them lies and false history and so forth, because the Amorites never explained that the Israelites ran into Africa during the Babylonian wars to do Egyptian religion. This right here. This what that brother don't know about is this verse right here in this history. Right here. If you go to 2 Kings, I mean Jeremiah chapter 44, not 2 Kings. And then you get down to verse 15, 16, 17, and 18, the whole Israelite nation say they wasn't going to do the covenant no more. And lied to prophet Jeremiah when he went to Almighty Yah to ask what we should do. And we said that whatever Almighty Yah say do, we're going to do it. And then the prophet Jeremiah come back, and we said we ain't doing that. how we going into Africa to live and sojourn and do their religion. Because when we was there, we had fun. Look, then all the men which knew that their wives had burnt incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of heaven and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. So we got chased out the land. We got chased out the land for that. And this Hebrew don't know this. Listen, he don't know this.
You know, Israel that has been dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, and you see a lot of that spoken above in the scripture, and they point to that saying that that is us. Okay. Right? Transatlantic slave trade is something that takes place starting around the 15th, 16th century, and they would say that these Africans that are taken from the Ivory Coast, right, are from a community of people that migrated there from the time of 70 AD. So 70 AD happens, all of these Israelites disperse into Africa. Okay. This is their belief, and they end up in the Ivory Coast. And there's a distinction, there's a very sharp distinction between Africans, who they consider to be Hamites, and Israelites, or black people, who they consider to obviously be from Shem. Right? They make that is not to be confused. A lot of groups they point to Africans and say they don't like them because there's
man, that dude, he don't know what he talking about. And any time a brother get up there and be in collaboration with them devils and stuff, man, that is all for the purpose of tarnishing the real Israelite heritage, or trying to stop them from coming into heritage. And if you look on all the videos concerning the Israelite history, besides the Israelite Brotherhood, it's going to be basically negative, or it's going to be them camps in the streets teaching and preaching falsehood and so forth. And let me show this, because all Israelites must know this, that if a brother, man, if a group is on the corner teaching and preaching, that they ain't sent by Almighty YAH, and then how 9 out of 10, they going to have some false history. They going to have some false history that can be easily seen. And I show you that the camp's history is false all the time. Behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentile. They ain't been bringing some truth to him. He shall not cry nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. So he ain't gonna be in the street hooping and hollering and trying to get attention and stuff that way. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking fleck shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. See, that's what Almighty YAH serving. Ain't gonna be in the streets hooping and hollering and stuff. So, you know, whenever these brothers, men like that, man, they gonna be using Jewish history, and their soul ain't gonna be feeling right with it, and they gonna reject that junk. And then the thing about it is, when they reject it, they don't know where else to go. They don't know nowhere else to go, because you not finna know nothing about Jewish history unless you come to the Israelite Brotherhood. And then if you come to the Israelite Brotherhood, then you better consider yourself blessed, because ain't nobody showing his history like this. So this brother, man, he lost, and then he done fell back into the hands of the enemy, because his spirit rejected that Jewish history that these folks created. You know, they got to have a history, because they've been in our heritage since since the Gabbanites. Let me show this. They've been in our heritage since the Gabbanites. And then when we go into Africa, abandoning the covenant for Egyptian religion, then all them Amorites of every different kind that the Bible, Tanakh, ever mentioned was still in the land, and they got our heritage. And that's the Amorite right there, trying to hide behind the Israelite heritage so they won't be exposed as the peoples that Almighty Yah wrath was against. Man, if you let's find this in the book of Joshua. The Gabonites tricked us. They tricked us. They tricked us. Let's see. Yeah, they tricked us. The Gabonite tricked us. Told us that they was coming from a long place, and how that, you know, that they was close, and told us they was from a far distance. Let's see. Yeah, look. And it come to pass, this is Joshua 9, and it come to pass when all the kings which were on this side of Jordan, and in the hills and in the valleys, and all the coasts of the great sea over against Lebanon, the Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Havites, and the Jebusites heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. Look, our enemies can fight against us with one accord, but we Israelites can't get together on one accord unless you worship Almighty Yah alone. Then we can get together on one accord. Look, and when the inhabitants of Gabon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and Ai, they did work willingly and went and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sackcloths upon their asses. See, that's what he do, deception. He doing the same deception that his ancestors did, the Gabonites. He doing the same deception, trying to make the Israelites think that they some Jews, and that Jews and Israelites are one and the same, when Jews are Ashkenazi and the Sephardi that was around during Greek and Roman time. And Ashkenazi been in our heritage since the Babylonian wars. He settled in Scythopolis. He settled in Scythopolis, this place right here. Right here, Scythopolis. That's where Ashkenazi settled, in Scythopolis. And he had control of the whole Galilee. The Galilee and the Decapolis city. You know, and then the Sephardi has been in our heritage since since the Gabonites. Since the Gabonites, because they're Amorites. Whether they was from Canaan or Babylon, they still one in the same people. They still one in the same people. And this is them tricking us, being a sly fox like he is. They did work willingly and went and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sackcloths upon their asses, and wine bottles, and old and rent and bound up, and old shoes, and clothed upon their feet, and old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provisions was dry and moldy. And they went to Joshua unto the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, we be from a far country now, therefore make ye a league with us. You see, that's how they do it. Deception. As I explained, the Amorites created the Romanist language. The Romanist language created by the Sephardis, and the Germanic language and the Romanist language merged, produced English. And they've been hiding the truth, you know, from everybody in English language. Alright, Hebrews, man, I just want to show how this dude is real deceptive. Now he done start saying that the Israelites were still around after the Assyrian captivity. They don't want to explain what happened to those Israelites after the Babylonian come in and destroyed and just took only a fruit of Judah, and how everybody else was gone. And that how all the Israelites were still around from the Assyrian times up to the Babylonian times, and went into Africa with Judah. And he know this. And this slick sly fox, he ain't trying to never tell the truth, because he's a slick sly fox. And slick sly foxes don't tell the truth. And he ain't finna tell the truth. He ain't finna tell the truth on the Israelite heritage. He'll go to his grave telling a lie, because he's an Amorite, and it was the Amorite culture that we Israelites were supposed to destroy. So you know he ain't gonna tell the truth. You know he ain't gonna tell the truth, and none of the Jews gonna tell the truth, because they're Amorites. The Sephardi branch of them are Amorites, and they gon' they've been hiding behind the Israelite heritage for a long time. And then, as I explained, how the Nethinims are the Gabonites, and all the other peoples that we didn't destroy are the Nethinims, and how they was in the temple and then got control of the Israelite heritage. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And then as this explain how we supposed to have made them servants and so forth. That's a bad thing that we did, and that cost us our heritage. This very act, this is Moses, Prophet Moses' second-hand man. And he slipped. Prophet Joshua slipped because the Gabonites got in, and this is the beginning of the end of the Israelite heritage, is when the Amorites got in right there. You know what I'm saying? And they Amorites for sure. They Amorites. They're Amorites. Alright, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This old Sly Fox. He can't trick us Israelites no more. We woke. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I pray that all the Israelites are safe. And shalom to the Israelite Brotherhood family members. Much love to you.